What is going on, guys? It is Joe back again talking about the Kansas State Wildcats. Back to the basketball side of things in today's video. As you can see, I am back in the home studio. The lighting's right, the audio's light. I'm beardless again. We're back in Kansas and ready to talk Kansas State basketball. I am stoked to have you guys here joining us today. And I know that usually, if you've watched my video in the past, or if you watched my videos in the past, you've noticed that I'll do post-game thoughts, recaps, reactions to the previous game the night after. I was traveling all day yesterday, so I did miss the actual upload time for that video. The main takeaway I had from this all revolved around one player. Usually I'll have 4 or 5 different thoughts, and I could have tied some different things together, but watching K-State take down West Virginia, there was one thought on my mind that I felt like really deserved its own video, something that I had to talk about in today's video, so I'm excited to do that. If you've seen the thumbnail, if you've seen the title, it is about Cam Carter. The junior has been incredible for K-State, one of the best players in the Big 12 Conference, and even the country this season. He's been putting up some unreal numbers on both ends of the floor. I'm really stoked to talk about Cam and K-State basketball in today's video, but before I do, let me remind you, if you like K-State athletics, if you like K-State basketball, K-State football, this YouTube channel is the place to be. Go ahead and consider subscribing. If you like K-State sports, you don't have to. It's free. It doesn't take too much time, but if you do, it does help me out a lot, and I do appreciate it. The other thing, real quick, before we get into the Cam Carter talk, this video is sponsored by some dudes that make the best beer in the world. The best beer in the world. The best beer in the universe, in the cosmos. That's right, we are getting straight Neil deGrasse Tyson with this. The best beer in the cosmos is at Manhattan Brewing Company. Go check them out. They're in downtown Manhattan. They've got a lot of different things happening, a bunch of different special events, different types of beers, different things you can do. One of my personal favorites, obviously I've talked about Tang Party. It is to die for. It is fire. Shout out to everyone that's tried it or gone to Manhattan Brewing Company and given it a try. That's my recommendation. If I was a beer sommelier, I don't even know if that's the right way to say that. If I was, everybody would be drinking a Tang Party. I tell you what, the other thing that's really cool about them is they do have a beer called the Wabash Ale, and it is a direct way to support Kansas State athletics. By drinking the Wabash Ale, a portion of the beer sales goes into Wildcat NIL and supports K-State athletics, so be sure and check that out over at Manhattan Brewing Company. Plus, it is delicious. Delicious and ice cold, my friends. That is the topic for today. Manhattan Brewing Company is delicious. Go check it out. We love them, and we appreciate them here on the channel. But guys, let's talk about Cam Carter. Now, so I was having this conversation with my girlfriend the other day. We started talking about last year's K-State team. We were watching the recent game, and I was kind of talking about some of the great things happening in Manhattan, and we started talking about last year's Elite Eight run, some of the things last year in Coach Tang's first year, and we got to the topic of Marquise and Keontae. And I mean, as I'm saying this, I have the Keontae shirt on, but it's painfully obvious that those dudes became like Manhattan icons. They became the next wave of NBA athletes to leave Kansas State basketball and truly go on and have careers. I mean, I know they're not at the big show yet, but both are studs in the NBA G League. Both Marquise and Keontae top 10 in voting right now. I think it's the G League Up Next game or Next Up game. I apologize if I'm messing that up, but be sure and go vote as well while we're on the topic. Marquise and Keontae quickly became dudes that are fan favorites that will be loved forever as K-State basketball icons. And I think that watching them leave was really hard for a lot of people. You started to see like, oh, this is a different team. And I'm not saying it's negative, but you get brand new face, you get Arthur Kaluma, you get Tyler Perry, you get Will McNair, you have a bunch of different guys that weren't here last year, and it's a whole different team. I know for some people that change can be really hard, but that's the way we live. That's the way that the transfer portal has changed college sports as a whole. While watching Cam Carter, I quickly realized like this dude is legit one of my favorite Wildcats of all time. There is something to be said for the massive improvement that Cam showed, and maybe it's also partially just him getting a bigger opportunity without Keontae and Keese there, and I'm not saying they did a bad thing, but it's just that fact if Cam wasn't asked to be the scorer that he is today. Cam Carter's massive jump in production, like goes from 6.5 points per game, 2 assists per game, 3 rebounds per game. Now he's in the 16-4-3 spot right now, maybe 16-5-3 at the moment, averaging NBA-like numbers. Like, I quickly realized not only how much it meant to me to have, like, all right, Cam immediately accepted the challenge. Understood, like, hey, this is going to be part of my responsibility is taking that role of, hey, I got to be the dude here. I'm not saying that Art won't help out or Tyler Perry won't help out or, at the time we knew Quan was there, we knew Quez Glover was coming in. You had a little bit of that, like, okay, Cam, we need you to be a scorer. That's what Jerome Tang said. Cam didn't shy away from the task. He didn't shy away from the challenge. The guy goes after it and, like, quickly puts on a clinic to say, like, dude, I'm an NBA player. I am really, really good at basketball. I don't know if it's a general way to say it, but you watch Cam on a nightly basis in transition attack the paint. I was listening to Wyatt call the game the other day, and granted we were out of town, so I had to tune in on the app, but you hear, all right, loose ball, Carter in transition, layup good. You just know every time, like Cam's attacking in transition. And that's the way Kansas State's offense is running right now. Like the team understands, hey, we got to get out and run. We got to be physical, compete, but we got to get out and run. Cam Carter has shown an elite ability to finish around the rim, to do everything that you need him to as a scorer while not sacrificing anything on the defensive end. Like, You saw the change. Like, first half, Raekwon Battle goes up, has 18 points. Granted, I know that West Virginia was kind of kicking their legs out and getting away with some three-point fouls, but you see 18 points in the first half from a score, you're like, well, shoot, boys, we got to lock it up. We're in a tight spot. Cam Carter, Dorian Finister, Data Hames had some good defensive possessions as well. Go after him. Lock him down. He scores 3 in the second half. That is a massive thing. Like, there's something I understand watching Cam Carter of, like, that dude is what it means to be a Kansas State basketball player. Every bit, like, and I'm not saying that you can't just transfer and be that guy, but, like, Cam accepted his task. He accepted his role. He accepted the responsibility of, like, hey, I need to score the basketball. I have to take that upon myself to do what the team's asking for me. And you see him reaping the benefits of that. I mean, Cam absolutely deserves his flowers, deserves every bit of NBA respect that he's going to get in the next year or two. And I'm not just saying all this to say, like, okay, well, Cam at the end of the year is going to the NBA for sure, or he's not going to the NBA for sure. I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. Cam is a dude that has the ability, the size, and the mentality to go to the next level. What I'm here to say in today's video that I think has really been growing on me, and maybe it's also just recency bias, but when you look around Kansas State athletics right now, starting with the football team, you look at Cooper Beebe, Hall of Fame type player, some even, a Mount Rushmore type player at Kansas State for football. You look at Ayoka Lee for the women's basketball team, Mount Rushmore type player for the women's basketball team. They are helping out in carrying the flag of, like, Kansas State greats. And you start thinking about, well, the football team is representative, the women's basketball team is representative, and immediately my mind goes to Cam Carter. Because I think with Cam, like, he has the ability to rewrite some of the history books at K-State. I know that he's already been such a special player, but, like, I want you to consider this, and I know that there's going to be an answer that I'm totally forgetting or somebody I'm forgetting, but when have we seen a junior be as prolific with the basketball on both sides of the floor as Cam Carter? Like, I know you had Keese as a junior, but at that point you're operating with Bruce Weber. Not saying Bruce was awful, but, he's not Jerome Tang. When have we had a guy this young that's not only stayed in the program, worked through processes, and become this much of a talented player? Like, Cam Carter's a first-team All-Big 12 player right now. I mean, John Rothstein writes about it every night. Like, the Cam Carter effect is real. You look around college basketball, and I know it's kind of painful for some K-State fans to be like, Ish is at Georgetown, Quan's at Memphis. You have different guys going different places. Keontae and Keese are both in the league. Desi Sills playing overseas, I believe. There's a lot of dudes moving on the run that are doing different things. The thing that I continue to see, and I'm sure that to an extent it's also the player themselves, like being that type of guy with the right mentality, but I cannot get over the fact that Jerome Tang has helped these guys become the best players they are consistently. Like, look at Ish Massoud real quick at Georgetown. Started off with an injury. I think it was a thumb injury, a wrist injury, something with Ish. But you knew he was one of the best shooters in the country. Ish couldn't get the playtime in K-State. He was in that 22-minute category, 18 to 22 minutes. I'm sure the conversation was similar of, like, Ish going into your senior year, it's going to be that 15 to 20-minute rotation. Ish like, dude, I want to start. I've worked my tail off. I got to go somewhere that I can start. And not in a negative way. There was no love lost by any means. He's still a fan favorite among K-State fans, but Ish goes to Georgetown, and he's averaging like 15 points. Dude's balling out. Hitting threes from everyone on the court, getting to the cup, doing his thing, rebounding, defending effectively. And you see, like, okay, Ish worked his tail off in the summer, worked his tail with the program. All last year with K-State, there's something in that locker room. There's something among the coaching staff, among the players, that these dudes understand the task. And by the time you see them next year, like, they're drastically different players. Cam Carter goes from, what I would define as a role player. Obviously his role wasn't to be the lead scorer for the team or be in attack mode or do whatever, but he had to defend, he had to rebound, hold down his front, know his role, understand his job. Cam Carter's role changes to, we need you to score the basketball, Cam. And Cam goes out there and he's one of the best scorers in the Big 12. Fifth right now in the league in scoring, and that can change pretty easily with a lot of the dudes at the top. I keep looking at Cam Carter and thinking, like, man, this is a special basketball player. This is a dude that K-State fans should not take for granted as like, man, Cam was pretty good. And then watch him leave for the NBA when his time comes, whether it be at the end of junior year or the end of senior year. I pray we get him back for senior year because you want him to be. I mean, Cam comes back, and he's like a top 5 odds-on favorite for the Wooden Award. Like, that's the type of player this dude goes. And I'm not saying you can't leave, you shouldn't do whatever. I'm not saying I know anything really about anything. Just as a fan watching Cam Carter grow, I cannot wait to see these guys continue to grow. Cam Carter, in my mind, and maybe I'm jumping the gun, maybe I'm putting some unnecessary stress on the kid, but has the ability to be, a jersey up in the rafters at Kansas State. He does. I really, truly believe that. Cam Carter goes out there and he's effectively defending. I mean, he's one of the top stealers in the Big 12 right now, effectively scoring. He can shoot the basketball, he can do whatever you need him to do. You do that for 2 seasons, and next year, I mean, if Cam comes back, off the top of the head, guys averaging 27 and 5. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's kind of just a huge numbers, but those are Wooden Award-winning numbers. Those are first-team All-American level numbers. You see that over a career for a guy who understands, like, hey, I'm here to work. I wasn't just gifted a starting spot and then left out there for 32 games. I had to work into this role. Cam continues to develop and show us why it is so important to find the right guys through your program. I know this video might just be kind of like me talking about how excited I am to watch Cam Carter continue to grow, but there's something special in Manhattan that hasn't been there before. It hasn't been there before. We've had players come through and have been really special. I mean, Barry Brown worked his tail off. Dean Wade worked his tail off. Cam Stokes, that whole squad, Xavier Sneed, they all came to K-State as underranked or under-recruited guys and then worked into this spot where they're some of the best players in the Big 12 Conference. Cam Carter and this team, Cam has the ability to work beyond just being the best player in the Big 12. He has the ability to be a Wooden Award winner, be a first-round NBA draft pick, be whatever XYZ thing. And I'm so thankful that we get the opportunity to watch him play. I know some people might be kind of thinking, Joe, you're kind of jumping the gun on this. Every time I watch this kid play, it reminds you of, hey, Kansas State is special. This is a dude that cares about K-State. I mean, Cowboy Cam takes the role of Cowboy Keontae from the year before. There's so many full-circle moments that continue to show, hey, there's real love, there's real maturity, there's real, pride in the locker room. There's stuff that's in there that, isn't ever going away. Doesn't matter what new faces come and go, whether that be years after Keontae and Keys are gone, years after Cam Carter and the rest of the guys are gone, years after everybody's gone. As long as Jerome Tang and this coaching staff are here, you see the love and the trust and the faith they have in their players. And I know that people want to get pissed off and bent out of shape. It's we struggled with Central Arkansas. We struggled with, I don't even remember who we played at this point, to be honest. But you also beat teams like Villanova, LSU. You get close against USC as well as Miami. You had that rally back. It is so encouraging to me to see what the future of this team holds, as well as Cam Carter, man. So I just want to say this video, appreciate the kid while he's here because he's a special, special athlete, man. I cannot wait to continue to watch him grow. I also want to say, because while I'm on the topic and I'm kind of just rambling, I'm also so pissed off that there's not a Charlie Hustle shirt about Cam Carter yet. And I know that their business model is probably oh, well, we have to even it out among teams. You look across K-State, KU, Mizzou. I'm pretty sure they do Mizzou as well. For K-State, you've got the Arthur Kaluma King Hart shirt. You've got the Big Shot Tyler Perry shirt. And I think KU has, I know they have one for Hunter Dickinson. I'm sure they have one for McCullough. I'm sure that's probably the case. So they don't want to add a third shirt without having to add a third one for KU. I'm sure that's part of it. And then Missouri obviously has football with Brady Cook. No idea what's happening on the basketball court really for Missouri. I know Dennis Gates is doing a good job, but I DM'd him about it and everything. So if this happens, your boy was a part of the movement to get a Cam Carter shirt. I did say specifically it has to be lavender. Lavender or bust. Got to be lavender. That is so sick. I don't know really where I'm going with this video, guys. I just wanted to talk about Cam because, had 23 points against West Virginia, struggled in the first half to an extent, but still comes out as a leading scorer, leading guy. Cam Carter's a special player, and I just want everybody to take a breath, look around, and understand that as he continues to play. Don't look past this kid. Don't look past and be well, K-State, if we end up, say, in theory, make the NCAA tournament, don't make the Elite Eight, or we do, whatever happens, don't look at this as dang, we didn't live it up to it. Understand how talented of a dude we have coming through and how exciting the future is for Cam Carter for the rest of this team. I know I'm biased. I'll just say it. I know I'm biased. I love the dude. I think he's a great player. One of my favorite guys to watch out there, but he does absolutely have a chance to see number 5 up there in the rafters. 100%. And I don't know whether that's a win a national championship thing, help change the culture, do this. Whatever happens, Cam Carter is putting himself into that category. Cooper Beebe did it by working his tail off, staying here for multiple years. Ayoka Lee did it by being one of the most unstoppable forces in women's college basketball history, scoring 63 NCAA record. Cam Carter is going to continue to step into that light. Sue me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I feel about it. So I wanted to talk about Cam in this video and just kind of get caught up on the different things around K-State basketball. We do take the court here soon. Taking on Texas Tech, K-State, one of the 3 teams. I don't know if the Oklahoma TCU game's over yet, so I could be wrong on this, but one of 3 undefeated teams. If Oklahoma wins, it's 4 undefeated teams. And the only team in the Big 12 Conference with both an undefeated women's team and an undefeated men's team in Big 12 Conference play. That's the way the world works. That's the way the Big 12 Conference works. It is the best basketball conference in America, and we have one of the best players in the nation on our squad. I'm so excited to keep watching this going on, but guys, I want to get out of here so I'm not just talking your ears off too much, but I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. It is good to be back. I'll be back in the studio ready to make some videos for you guys on both football and basketball, but I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go Cats!